anybody who's watching this after the live stream went out, because you're watching me do this as a video. This thing is sponsored by Two Bastards Texas Smithy and Supply. All live streams are. What's up, Duck? How you doing? I don't even know if y'all can see that. Yeah. Two Bastards Texas Smithy and Supply. They sponsor all the live streams. They are the Hammer sponsor. I'll talk more about them later. Almost first. Close. Time out the shop today. Heck yeah. I've been working for Pepsi all day. I finally get to come out here. Got some stuff cleaned up. Sold a set of my truck tires that I had out here beside the shop. Get those out of the way. Just been working. Now I'm going to do some more work. We're going to forge a knife. I am going to make one of my, kind of like my integral knives that I do. I'm not doing a integral bolster knife, so I'm not starting with stock that is like 5/8 of an inch thick or super thick or anything like that. We're starting with bar stock, and we're going to make a forged to finish knife. I'm not doing a blacksmith knife or something like that. I'm going to do something different with the handle a little bit, and we're going to have fun. We're going to make something that I haven't made before, and we're going to have a blast doing it. The second most popular soda company. For all the stores that I work, it is the most popular. But of course, to be fair, that's because where I'm at, we carry Dr. Pepper. So we have Pepsi and Dr. Pepper. And in Texas, Dr. Pepper is the king. We sell so much Dr. Pepper that it's ridiculous. So, shop, heck yeah. I'm really excited to see what it looks like whenever it's all done too. One of the best leather workers in the game right there. Also makes beautiful knives, but is an amazing leather worker. What's up, Steve? The power hammer maker himself. So I've got this piece of 1080 in the forge right now, heating up. We are starting off with a kind of like a rhombus shaped piece. We're going to forge in the blade profile roughly. We're going to get a rough idea of the blade profile, and then I'm going to go ahead and create the transition where basically we're not making any of these knives, but we're going to forge the blade, and then we're going to create this transition here. So we have the heel, and we're going to forge the handle. What I'm going to try and do on this particular handle is I'm going to see if I can do it. I kind of want to do that I-beam style handle where I actually round the spine and the belly. So you have to forge it down, and then you have to purposely roll the top and bottom of the tank so that it creates kind of like a handle width and all that stuff. We're basically going to make an I-beam. But I'm going to try and do that, plus a couple other things. We're going to have fun with it. We're just going to start forging and get after it. On something like half of the major soda companies. Oh yeah, that's for sure. And we have Gatorade, which is like, people go crazy for Gatorade. But yeah, I agree. Coke, Coca-Cola, they do fantastic. Okay, this is hot enough, so we are going to start hammering on it. Starting off, Two Bastards dog head hammer. forging in that tip a little bit as we go. Yeah, all the dudes that work for Coke around me, I call them Coke dealers. They're our Coke dealers. I got a few good friends that work for Coke. But yeah, those are our local Coke people. But yeah, Dr. Pepper is like, no joke, Dr. Pepper is the thing. That's what everybody wants.
If you're in Texas.
Yeah, we sell, Dr. Pepper in Texas makes every other soda company look like nothing. It's ridiculous. So for every one, at most places that I go, for every one Dr. Pepper, or for every one Coca-Cola product, we sell like 4 Dr. Pepper. It's nuts. You know, this is the live check about sodas and whatnot. Also forging.
Totally not about
Tell y'all right now, if you're new to knife making, the edge of your anvil is one of the places you're going to spend a lot of work on, especially whenever you're working on forging tips and stuff like that. Get used to utilizing that section of your anvil. Because we use it as a pinch point. So whenever you're down here working on your edge, we're using that to pinch our steel. So basically what's happening is our hammers a lot of the times are coming down at an angle at the edge, and we're using this to help pinch and squeeze material to create things like the tips on blades. So we went from pretty square in to this on a couple of heats, just utilizing the pressure that we get from being able to work on this edge here. And then we'll bring it back to the center and we'll planish it, get it flat, both sides. When you're planishing, you don't want to just planish on one side, you want to planish on both sides. Nice and easy. But now we have our tip forged in. So that's good. This is going to be our cutting edge. We're going to end up creating the handle section. We're going to heat it back up, come in here, and we're actually going to hang it off. We'll probably come on this side over here, hang it off, hammer in from the edge down. I'm going to bring y'all down here closer when I do that. Pink. And we're going to create a little wedge out of that. Let that heat back up. Driving from Colorado. There's still an authorized ingredient. We can Who would have thought that that's what we'd be talking about right now? Miss Rivers brought me a nice water. I'm excited about that. I drink a lot of water. How much I walk every day? I walk about anywhere from 8 to 10 miles a day. So I go through a lot of water. It's kind of crazy that I walk that much, but it's what you do when you do what I do. You come out here, and it's yesterday was 115 degrees in my town. So it's 115 degrees. They're doing the Hotter Than Hell 100 in Wichita Falls today. So it's 100 miles of bike riding, and at 110 degree plus heat, absolutely crazy. And so we had that going on this weekend. It was real busy for us, which is why I didn't put out a shop talk video, but you know what? We're talking in the shop right now, so it is what it is. Walk like 500 feet max. What's up, my people from Brazil? Nice to have you here, Lucas. Yeah, I hike putting up sodas and whatnot every single day. Alright, without it getting too hot, we're going to go ahead and forge in this notch. I don't want it to be too hot whenever I do this. All I'm trying to do right now with that heat is just decide if I like where that notch is. So that's going to be good. I think that's going to be a good blade length. You're looking at right now from heel to tip. From heel to tip is 4 inches. So about 4.25 inches from heel to tip right there. And we're going to be forging in the bevels on this. So it's going to have full forged bevels. It's going to have a distal. So we're going to get extra length out of the final forging of the blade. But the rest of this material is going to be our handle. So now we're going to heat it back up, but from this one, when we start forging the handle, we got to grab it by the blade. The reason why I didn't want to have a whole lot of heat in here, what's up, Split Slices? I didn't want a whole bunch of heat in the blade because whenever I come in and I hit it on the spine right here, I don't want it to deform the spine too much, because all we're doing is just creating a notch for where we want to start this. I didn't want it to deform the spine a whole bunch going into the blade, because when we start heating this, we're going to really focus on heating the handle more than the blade, so it don't really mess with the profile of the blade. So go ahead, we're going to switch tongs. So let's grab the other set of tongs, quench or submerge the current tongs in water. Pull them off so we don't accidentally grab them one time and it's super hot. So we're going to grab it with the other set of box jaw, which fits it nicely. If you're new here and you're wondering where I get my tongs, it's Iron Dungeon Forge. They're the ones that make my box jaw tongs and a lot of the tongs that I use in these videos. And then of course, Two Bastards for the hammer. Two Bastards, Texas Smithy and Supply. What's up, Nathan? How you doing? National Knife Day 2024. That's what I'm talking about. Eating a carrot and drinking a protein drink. Perfectly healthy. Thank you very much.
Are you aware that today is National Knife Day?
Yeah, I saw that. Is it actually National Knife Day?
It's actually National Knife Day.
So we are forging on National Knife Day. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't do that on purpose. It just happens to be Saturday and it just happens to be National Knife Day. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. Thanks for the knowledge. Let this heat up. Start forging this handle. So I think with this particular handle profile, because of what I'm wanting to do with that kind of I-beam effect, I'm going to try and put a nice subtle profile to it so that I can easily do that I-beam effect on the horn of the anvil. I think what I'm going to try and do, let's see, not as crazy of a profile as this one. We'll use this one. So something kind of simple, knife handle profile like this right here. That way I can I-beam this and have it be comfortable. So I might do something kind of similar to this style handle on there. What's up, Mom? How you doing? And yes, my mom's name is Janet Jackson. Not the one you're thinking of, but her name is Janet Jackson. Yeah, it's not motorcycles. Bicycles. Alright. So now we can come from this side over here. Hammer in on the spine. Planish it back out. We're just going to gradually start creating that wedge profile on this back section here as we go. So for those people who are local to Texas or that live around Texas, on November 16th, if I'm right, I will be doing I don't know if you want to call it a hammer in, but I'll be doing a demonstration for Texas Farrier Supply. It'll be myself, Jay Nielsen, and Shelly, his girlfriend, and a leather worker, and a couple other people. We're going to be down in the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth area. Of course, I'll give y'all more information as we get closer to it. But if I'm right, it's November 16th. I'll be doing 1 to 2 hour demonstration live there. So if y'all are local to that area or you just live in around Texas or whatever, you can come and actually meet me in person and see me forge live. Yes, and what Joey there, Mr. The Riot, or Terrio, what he said. So really what we're doing is we're forging, coming off of it. You don't have to do that. It's just part of what we do within blacksmithing and bladesmithing. It's one of our things. But a lot of the times we don't want to hit and then have the hammer just be over here or down here or up here. We let it hammer, bounce it off the anvil. Hammer, bounce it. But it keeps your arm constantly going as you're doing it. What you're going to learn as you start forging, once you forge for longer than 20 minutes, what's going to happen is this muscle right here, you see this one that kind of bumps out right there, you're going to get cramps and everything in that area. Sometimes it'll want to just tighten up by itself. So a lot of times we're hammering and we don't want it to rest. We don't want it to pause and stop. And we want everything to continue going. Boom, 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 boom. And I tend to hammer a lot more than some people, but between those little anvil hits, I will get after it for a while and keep that muscle engaged, keep everything going so that it doesn't tense up on me. Especially if I'm forging for like 4 hours. So now we have our wedge formed right there. We're not worried about what the piece of steel looks like that's going to become the handle. All we wanted to do was create that heel right there. So cutting edge, full along that. Now we can start profiling the handle. I'm leaving a little bit of extra meat in this section right here so that I can really profile that later. It's going to be slightly thinner than that in that area. What we need to do now is go ahead and create what I call the pinky choil. All we're going to do that let's bring y'all down here just a hair. All we're going to do to create that little guy is take the handle, hang it off the edge of the anvil, and we're going to hammer down onto right about there. So the second notch that's right about there. And we're going to use that to create our little drop down, or what I call the pinky choil. This guy right here. The reason why I call it that is because that's the little area that your pinky rests in. This is what we call a finger choil, or an index finger one. There's your pinky one. If you're wondering why we call certain things on the knives that, we're going to get it back in the forge. We'll end up forging that section out. Now again, come down here so y'all can actually see me. So what we're trying to do right now is get the handle profile set up, and all we're going to do is do that rough profile, and then we're going to fine tune it. We don't really have to do much to the blade right now because I just want to get the handle to about 75% done before we start doing that I-beam effect. And then we're going to go ahead, forge in our bevels, get our blade about 80% done, 85% done, and then we'll go back and do the little I-beam effect. What's up, Danny? How you doing? So we're going to wait for this to heat back up. It should only take like another 45 seconds to a minute. And then we're going to go ahead, the handle kind of profile, go from there. Smells like somebody's barbecuing around me. Well, Venom, again, awesome to have you here. I'm pretty sure we've talked on one of the live streams. But yeah, awesome to have you here. Go ahead and grab this. Down to our little notch. Okay, so that's going to be good. So now we've got our two notches. This one's going to be finger choil. That one's going to be pinky choil. Now, I don't want to make it super sharp just yet. We've got a nice little wide section because what's going to end up happening is I'm going to leave that little bit of extra thickness right there so that I can decide later how I want to profile it. How, if I want to take that section and I want to pull it up and in, I'll have that extra meat right there to do that so that I can create whatever size of this section right here that I want. Maybe I want it to go back up to like up all the way up here or something like that. I want to leave the extra meat there so that I can choose how I want that piece to look. What a lot of people have to learn when they start bladesmithing is you have to learn material management. That is something I say a lot whenever I'm doing these live streams or if I'm talking in videos, is a lot of the smithing side of this is material management and figuring out what you can move where, what pieces of the knife as you're forging that you need to leave a little extra meat in a certain area. You need to leave a little extra steel in a certain area so that you can decide later how you want to modify it. The cool thing about knife making and doing bladesmithing is you can always slightly scale it down and, you know, clean up the profile, take a 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch off here and there. So leave yourself a little bit of extra meat and areas just in case you have to utilize that to shift something somewhere else. You know, it's pretty cool whenever you start getting confident with where you can leave things and where you can have slight thicknesses and things like that that you can thin out later and put pieces of steel wherever the heck you want. It's just so cool, the material manipulation that you can have during the actual, you know, smithing part of making a knife. It's something that's different that you can't do with stock removal. Oh, one of the hammer stands. Hey, this thing right here, nice and simple, it works like a champ. Exactly what Miss Rivers said right there. The videos are always uploaded to a regular video format after the live stream. Right. See how ugly that handle is right now? You know, I'm not worried about any of that. What I know that right now that I have is I have index finger choil, pinky choil, butt of the handle of the tang. I've got a nice swell to the center that I can move wherever the heck that I want. And of course, with all my knives, I tend to have kind of an arch to the spine. All that stuff's going to happen as we go. What I want to do now, I know that this section of the anvil right here is the thickness of my hand whenever I have a closed fist. So all I need to know is that my two little finger choils right there just need to be able to hug this section of the anvil. Now the cool thing is they can always be slightly longer than this section. You just don't want it smaller than that. Because if it's smaller, it's not going to fit my hand. But if it's slightly longer, it'll still be comfortable in my hand. Possibly also fit other people's hands too that might have hands bigger than mine. So all we got to do now is start profiling that section and just get it roughly to where we want it to be. We don't want to do much to it just yet because we need to get our blade forged out. Got to get our bevels forged and all that stuff. And then we'll start working on really fine tuning the handle. For right now, we just need to get it roughly to where it needs to go. The reason why I leave a lot of the sections slightly thicker during these processes, like I could have easily just forged the bevels once I created that notch that shows where the heel of the blade is. I could have just went and forged the bevels, but what ends up happening is in order to forge that handle tang, you got to do a lot of material manipulation, and in that process, you will absolutely put a lot of pressure on the blade side with your tongs. So if your bevels are all nice and forged and looking good, well, whenever you're in the process of really moving and squishing the heck out of that tang, it's going to start messing with the actual blade profile. Things are going to start biting and bending, and it's just, you don't want to do that. So leave everything thick, get everything blade about 60% done. Basically just forge the profile roughly. Then work on your handle because that's going to be the area that has the most manipulation. And get that handle roughly where you need it to be. but don't be focused on the overall profile yet. You just want to get the handle forged to its initial profile, and then start forging your bevels. Because what's going to end up happening is when you start forging in your bevels, it's going to start elongating that edge. It's going to start stretching the edge, the cutting edge. And when you start stretching that section, your tang, which is right here, say the blade comes like this, the tang's going to slowly start working its way up as you start stretching that edge. And then you're going to have to pull it back down. But if you made it all perfect and you're worried about that, you'll start being hyper-focused on keeping the profile correct as you're forging the edge. You don't need to do that. Once you get your handle roughly profiled, let it be. Work on your blade, get it all where it needs to be, and then you can focus on getting that handle exactly where you want it, get it nice and cleaned up, and go from there. Don't be hyper-focused on stuff and steps that you don't need to mess with at that point. Everyone thinks they need to have a knife that looks beautiful the entire time they're forging. That is not the case. Took a little bit of that belly out of there. Now the cool thing is, it doesn't matter where it's profiled right now. I could do 2 simple hammer moves and move almost this whole entire curvature to the spine. If I just went through, heated it up, had it like this, see how I got that gap underneath right here? I have that gap right there. If I just took and had it hot, the one hammer blow here, brought it up to about right here, one hammer blow there, it would instantly put all that arch here. If I just had it hot and hit it here and then hit it here, it would instantly move this section this way, this section right here this way, and push this whole entire section right here down towards the spine. And then boom, you have an arch to the spine, not the belly. So it's pretty cool. You don't have to, again, worry too much about where things are at, because you can always shift those things different areas or to different areas once you get used to, like I said, the actual forging process. Once you get used to whenever you heat a piece of steel with the hammer, how you're holding it, what it's going to do to those blades and move them, it's going to make your life a lot easier, because the actual action of that activity of doing the bladesmithing or the smithing part of it is going to show you a ton. Absolute ton. So it's pretty cool being able to actually sit there and go, okay, so if I take and I hit here while I'm holding it right here, what's that going to do? Well, it's going to put a little arch, it's going to put a little bend, it's going to move this period, this section here and over here. Once you get used to that, you can feel confident forging whatever the heck you want. And I have a blast doing that. That's one of my favorite parts of knife painting, is being able to take a piece of steel that was a rhombus, hammer and anvil, and turn that bad boy into a knife profile. Also, just in case y'all haven't seen it, this knife is going to look absolutely epic. So this is the one that we forged last weekend. This is going to be the Shop Talk Tuesday episode. This should actually release on Tuesday this week. Once I do this choil, this sharpening choil right here, that profile is going to be absolutely gorgeous. And this has that little extra little tab down here, that little guard piece from Mule Power Forge's little idea thing right there, or me forging his little knife. But that is an absolute beautiful profile. And when I put a handle on it and get to do the cool profiling in here and do the little facets that are going to end up happening with this knife, that is going to be just a super cool, beautiful looking knife. But I wouldn't have made this knife if it wasn't for forging out and making Mule Power Forge's knife. Push that area just a little bit more. Cool. We are right where we need to be. If I was to take and hit right here or right here and move that, or take it and do what I did, what I was talking about, where I hit here and then hit here, put that arch to this, it would fit that little section here perfectly. Planishing blows. We don't need the steel super hot when we're doing planishing blows. The cool thing is we have all this extra material here, so whenever I create that little hook that's going to be on the back here, I think that's going to work out real well. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and forge out the bevels, so get them nice and looking good. So I can just grab it on the other side here, and that way you can actually kind of see our blade profile right now. Now what we're going to do, what's up Tornado? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start forging out the bevels. So I'm bringing those down, drawing them down, getting a distal taper forged in all the way to the tip. While we're doing that, that's going to give us a little extra height. So what I'm going to do in the process of forging those bevels is I'm actually going to go ahead and use my cross peen, straight peen, and we're going to do a lot of the bevel work using that as opposed to using a rounding hammer. So what I'm going to be doing is taking our cross peen that we have here, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be forging it and pushing that cutting edge down as we go. So hammering this way, and we're going to be hammering all this out and then extending it with this, and then we'll switch to one of the other hammers, and I'll tell you why when we actually get to that hammer. So I'm probably only going to get about probably about a 1/4 inch out of the height on this. But the way that I'm going to pinch it initially, what that's going to do is it's going to actually bring the heel back just a little bit. It's going to give me this pocket of material that I'm going to be able to massage into the heel area to give us a really nice hook back around that finger shoulder. Right now, if you look at it, it comes up and then kind of comes forward a little bit. The way that I'm going to pinch it with that cross peen, straight peen, I'm going to pinch it basically about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch in front of the heel, pinch it there vertically, and I'm going to create, like I said, a pocket of extra material that's going to get shifted back, and then whenever I draw that down and back, it's going to actually isolate it towards the heel and extend that heel out. So you'll see that as we start going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create that pinch section. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to go ahead and start drawing it out. And it's really cool how you can just do one little thing and get yourself so much extra material to pull to a particular direction by default. It'll just naturally want to go to that area, and it's going to give a super, super good looking profile. But I want to go ahead and get that section pulled out where it needs to be, so that whenever I start I-beaming the handle, I don't have to worry about trying to do many manipulations with the actual blade profile. So, cross peen, straight peen, we're going to take the straight peen, all I did was I pinched in front of this section. Now, see, if I heat it back up, we're going to switch hammers just for a second. But right now, it's pinched down to the cutting edge there. But this section right here is still fat. So we're going to end up isolating that and pulling it back this direction. Heat it back up. Switch to the cross peen or the straight peen flat hammer. And what I'm going to do is that area that I just pinched to the thickness of the blade, I'm going to take that section and I'm going to forge it back into the handle or back into the blade. So we pinched it, I'm going to forge it back in, and it's going to expand the whole entire cutting edge. You'll see that as we start going here. Okay, it's hot enough. Let's go ahead and grab it. So we have that section pinched. So we had a really wide angle here beforehand. Now it's already taken and moved this back a little bit. So that's a proof concept that works really well. Okay, so now we're going to pinch it back down, and then I'm going to take this ball peen and I'm going to draw out that whole entire heel with just the ball peen. So we're going to pinch it with the straight peen, get that area back out there, and then we're going to use the ball peen and we're going to massage it down and back towards the finger. So basically, we're going to take, and how this knife right here kind of hooks back a little bit, we're pulling it back like this so that we have this nice hook back towards your hand, get a nice heel pulling out or drawing out of it, and we'll have a nice profile. One of my favorite profiles to show y'all. So these little guys right here, these are on my website, these particular profiles, but how this heel kind of comes back like that and goes around the finger. Same thing with this one right here, how it kind of comes back and goes around the finger. That's what we're trying to create right now. And these are the profiles that I have on my website that you can actually scoop up. They're PDFs. I just have them on template material so that I can make some other knives with them. I have those on the website as PDFs so that people who aren't very confident in designing knives, they have the ability to just print them off and practice making knives with their own bar stock. See here. Step down, ball peen into this little heel area here. Go. We have it nice and tight here now. And of course, there's several ways that you could do that. Let's say you wanted to use a rounding hammer to do it. So this is the round side of a blacksmithing rounding hammer. What we would do in that section is we would take the edge of it, this little corner here, so the 45 that's on the edge here, we would use that section as a pinch point. Let's toss this back in the heat so it heats back up. So you can actually see this on hammers, okay? So here's our face of the hammer. A lot of people will use this section of the rounding hammer. They're thinking, okay, the face is what it is. But you have all these pinch points. So you've got a tighter pinch point right here. If you want to draw out, or let's say you want to actually hit here and pinch, or you want to hit here and pinch, you got this nice tight pinching point right there on this edge. You want a slightly rounder section, but still pretty sharp. You have this corner right here, which imagine that being a little bit of a ball peen profile right here. As long as you're hitting it on this edge right here, you're getting a nice fine point. And then you have a slightly bigger round towards the top of the face. So easily get a nice wide angle, a nice little wide round here, almost like a ball point or a ball peen on that corner. A nice tight pinch on that edge. It's the same thing for your flat side here. Got a slight radius here, your flat, slight radius, a nice pinch, almost like a cross peen right here. Almost like a straight peen right here. So if you only had this hammer and you wanted to do the activities of a straight peen, you could easily come in at an angle here and use this as a straight peen. Use this as a cross peen. That's why rounding hammers are such a useful tool. As long as you're using all the different parts of the hammer. That's why this is like the hammer that you get for bladesmithing. A rounding hammer. All the tools that you could possibly need in one, as long as you're utilizing it for its intended use. I just love my fat peen, cross peen, straight peen though. So I use the heck out of these. But I could do it all without if I wanted to. All all about using the different hammers that you have. So, cross ping. All the way down towards the tip. Get a lot of height out of it right there. So get a lot of height on the blade by using that cross peen. Clean up your profile a little bit. As you can see, we're already forging in our bevels. We're starting to forge in that wedge right there. Is it super pretty right now? Nope, but that's because we're focused on just getting the material where it needs to go. As you can see, we got that nice inner curve right there. Now, where it was like this, all that area is now pulled back where we want it to be. I'm 40 years old, I'm not doing a backflip. I'm not saying that I'm not fit enough to do a backflip. I'm just saying my spine is not a 20-year-old spine. It's a 40-year-old spine. Let's see here. Yes, and the rounding hammer is super diverse hammer. Yeah, it's not worth the risk. I ain't risking it. No, sir. Like, I can even land it perfectly fine. Just land it perfectly fine, and my spine's like, you know what? I'm done. You just go about your day. I'm just going to stay here. And yep, that's what would happen. I got to work all day tomorrow. Yes, bladesmith, not an acrobat. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about with this hammer, okay? So we're going to do a lot of those same things with the rounding hammer. Cross-beam activities. Ball peen activities. It just wants to be a recurve knife, whether I want to make it a recurve knife or not. So it's like, do I make it a recurve knife? I also want to show y'all something. So we still have to distal taper the spine. You can see we have a slight distal taper where it is thicker here than it is here. Okay? I'm leaving all that meat in this section that's right up here. I'm leaving all of that. You can see I haven't even hammered in this section up here at the top. Hammer hasn't touched it. We've been working all on this bottom section and up here. What's going to happen is, whenever I put the distal taper in this, it's going to take this tip and work it down and give us that drop point. Okay? What's up, Frank? If y'all didn't know, that guy right down here, that little Frank Machado, that's the guy who makes my hammers. Of course, we've talked about him a couple of times so far. So we have this section right here. We're going to end up stretching that material out. It's going to drop that tip down and give us that nice distal taper when we get to that point. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think that we should do a slight recurve on this, or do you think I should just leave that cutting edge nice with a nice subtle straight to a slight curve up? I'll let y'all choose. Y'all want a recurve or just clean profile? You said yes. That was an either or question. Recurve it? Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do that. Just started making knives. Already sold 8 to my co. Heck yeah! It's awesome having you here, Lucas. Hey, and you're still doing your thing, so it's all good. You know, the fact that you're selling your knives, that's awesome, man. That's what a lot of people want to be doing who are getting into knife making. They want to, of course, they want to be able to get into this and be able to sell their knives so that they can buy more tools and do other cool things. That's the benefit of being a knife maker, is being able to sell the things that you make in the process of learning. And, you know, buy new tools, buy more tongs, buy more hammers. Okay, so if we're going to do recurve, we want to take our rounding hammer and kind of massage that as we go. We want it to be subtle, we don't want it to go too crazy. Now is I'm taking the round side of the hammer and I'm kind of creating my plunge line. I am forging right in front of that ricasso area. So if this section right here, is going to be my ricasso, so that section right in front of where the handle would be, that's going to be my ricasso. I want to take and I want to forge right in front of that, okay? So forge right in front of it. I'm doing a subtle plunge going down into it. Not doing a hardcore like line in there. Just a nice subtle plunge where I am gradually forging it up to that little section where I hadn't hammered yet. Just gradually forging up into that. That's the way to go, yeah. Commission's right now. That's the way it happens to a lot of people. Yep, getting one of the fat beans. I'll tell you right now, that hammer right there, you can do a lot with it. If you can get this hammer, the cross peen, straight peen, that's the only cross peen, straight peen you'll need. And again, like I said, it's nice having the fatter one. It's like this because your material moves a lot easier, a broader section, and the hammer blows don't leave a huge, like, fine dent. It leaves a broader dent that can be hammered out way easier. fat pin is the way to go. And what I like about Frank is he can help you kind of decide which hammer makes the most sense for what you're doing. Okay, so we have our bevels pretty much where they need to be. They're not super straight or anything like that, because all I need to do is straighten it is just do a little bit of those taps and boom, we're straight. But right now we have that blade profile. We still have a slightly thicker spine, so that I can drop that tip down. But what I'm going to do on this next heat is I'm going to refine that tip just a little bit. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to have to turn y'all, or turn the anvil a little bit. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to forge a little bit on the spine, kind of recurve over the horn, and work that area out just a little bit more. Get that recurve just a little bit more refined. And then, like I said, we're going to refine that tip a little bit. And then on the next heat, what we're going to do after that is we're going to take our round side of the rounding hammer. We're going to pinch along the side of the spine itself. And that's going to move everything where we need it to be tip-wise. And we don't really need to drop the tip that much, because once we actually put the arch in the tang, so right now the tang itself kind of comes up at an angle away from the heel, so it kind of comes back and up just slightly. Whenever I put that arch to it, it's going to bring this section, the butt section of it, down even with this heel, maybe even slightly past it, and then it will give it that nice flow and make it look like the tip is actually dropped down a little bit. Because right now it kind of does this, the tip looks like it's all the way up here. All right, let's see what y'all are saying over here. That's awesome that you got your shop up, Reniculture. Like 2 weeks. Yeah. It's time to work on stuff, which what you're working on right now, that slip joint, is awesome. So if y'all aren't part of it, of course, the Discord that we have, absolutely awesome. We post stuff in there. Of course, everybody posts more than I post, just because I have all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But I do check it often. I get on there every single day and actually see what everyone's talking about, typing about, which I think is super awesome. It's the same thing that I do with the Rivers Experience on Facebook. I make sure that I check in and check out what everybody's working on. It's just so cool seeing people's progression with the knife making, and make sure I get to heart everybody's stuff and like everybody's stuff. I just think it's cool. Okay, that's getting hot. We're almost where we need it to be. Grab another one of these waters. Stay hydrated as we do this. Do not let yourself get burnt out in your shop. If your shop's ridiculously hot right now, like mine is, make sure you stay hydrated. Don't pass out. All right. Okay, so I want y'all to see what the profile looks like right now. That's what the profile looks like. We have a pretty straight spine with a little bit of a drop. Recurve comes up pretty much from here all the way to the top here. I want you to see what happens whenever I heat it back up and I forge in this section here, okay? So that's where we're at right now. Pretty straight spine and everything. It's only going to take a few seconds for that to heat back up. Yeah, I like the fact that you drifted the hole on that slip joint, Doug. $30 by $50. That is perfect size for the amount of crazy stuff that you do. $30 by $50. That's a good size shop right there. It's a lot bigger than what I'm working with, and I love the size of my shop. Again, you see the profile right there. Rounding hammer. Back to the flat side. There you go. Distal taper from the ricasso down to the tip, nice and even. Distal throughout there. And now you can see our profile now comes out and has that slight curve to the tip. And we have that recurve, it comes down, subtle recurve to the heel, up in. Just because we left that space in that spine area right there so that we can massage it into a distal taper and get the profile that we wanted our blade to have. Again, it's all about material management. Got nice clean bevels all the way down. We've got a subtle plunge line that actually rounds from here up into the spine. Nice even cutting edge throughout that. That's the way to go. Okay, so now what we can work on, we'll leave the blade just as it is right there. Don't want to do any more to that until we actually get the handle where we want it. So now we can go ahead and start working on the handle. Like I said before, you can see that the handle comes up and away from the heel. So now we need to get this profile how we want it. A few things that we need to do is make sure that the spine actually evens out into the ricasso area, even though we're going to be rounding it and all that stuff. And then we need to make sure and get this shaped exactly how we want it. Get that handle area drop down and then start I-beaming it. So make sure that that's in there. Yep. I need to take and pinch this down just a little bit. modify that so that it had a slight more pinch to it, so it held the blade easier. See here, I'm trying to make some mokame. That's pretty cool. I love mokamegane. Yeah, there's a few people that have been building shops lately that have like crazy industrial fans that pull everything out of the shop. All right, grab this thing. Go back to the dog head. Okay. Get an even thickness with the spine and the ripasso. Take that butt of this and just kind of round it in. So it's going to have a little bit more of a point whenever I'm done. But we'll heat it back up and I'm just going to round this section right here. I don't need to get a whole bunch of heat into it for what I'm about to do. But we're going to round it, put it on the edge of the anvil back here. Create a nice smooth transition into that beakage oil. Let's see here. Currently the tire shop is covered in a thick layer of wood dust. See, my shop is clean enough right now that you can probably sit on the floor and not get anything on your clothes. But I clean it often. I'm super picky about that. Okay, so again, come in at an angle. Now we have that heel profile right there. If I wanted to, I could clean that up just on the edge of the anvil. If I clean it up, in the inner curve of that finger choil there. So now what we need to do, now that we have the handle length that we want, we need to go ahead and create the arch. But before I create the arch, I need to take this section and move some of that material to the spine. Right now, our spine is super straight. So I need to cant this section, and cant that section a little bit, push this hump towards the spine a little bit so that we have a nice swell on the top and the bottom. And then we'll take it and arch it. Always a process. Now, the cool thing about this is a lot of these processes you can actually just, create your own part of it. So for me, being self-taught, I don't do everything like a traditional bladesmith would. If traditional bladesmith is really a thing. I know that it's a thing, but like currently, a lot of knife makers who exist, a lot of them are self-taught. They figured out different things, and then they went and did hammer-ins and other things. But a lot of them do what they think, do what makes sense to them. What's up? How you doing? What's up, Crab? And a lot of the things that we do as bladesmiths are things that we kind of tailor to our own style and our own, technique, even though it's stuff that has existed for a really long time. But like whenever I go and I do this hammer in or this demonstration around a lot of other bladesmiths, some of them might think, wow, he's doing weird stuff. But it's my own thing, so I'm allowed to. What's up, Miss Rivers? Do what? Yep. So like I said, we angle it like this. Hammer there, angle it a little bit. Hammer here. I'm being mindful of how I'm hammering so that I don't accidentally hit one of these sections here. Do that one more time and clean it up, but as of right now you can see that we're starting to pull some of this big hump that was right here down to the spine, getting a subtle swell on the backside on this next heat. Even though we still got plenty of heat in there right now, I'm going to go ahead and heat it back up, and then I'm going to work in this section here and really bring that hump down to the backside and have that swell.
So you mentioned they have one opportunity to work with somebody, but they have one opportunity to see you is how you do your thing. They have multiple opportunities to come and see you in the state of Texas.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, again, what Miss Rivers is saying here is earlier I said that if you wanted to see me in person, you can see me at that hammer-in or demonstration that we're going to do for the Texas Fair Supply. But I will be at the Texas Renaissance Fair for 2 months. So come see me and forge with me in front of dragons and all that stuff on the weekends. I'll give y'all dates for all that stuff whenever we actually get closer to that. Alright, let's grab this back out. Thank you for reminding me of that. Alright, so now, you see that handle profile? See how it's not as crazy on the inner side? We have that nice swell to the outside, so it has a nice taper back. And now we have that nice inner angle here, so whenever I actually clean that up, it'll look really nice and cool right there. But that's a good, just forge to finish handle profile. Now, of course, we're going to be doing some other things to it, which is, of course, I-beaming it. But now what I want to go ahead and do, because I-beaming it is not going to take a whole lot of craziness, I need to make sure and get our blade exactly how I want it. And we're going to hold it with something other than box jaw tongs whenever we actually start doing that. But I'm looking at it, and I need to Okay, I want you to see the profile right now. If you look at it, we got this kind of like dip right there. I don't want that dip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this spine section a little bit, and I'm going to take that dip out of it a little bit. And I'm actually going to pinch here just a little bit more as well. And we'll be able to take that little bump, which is not a big deal, because it actually works with the profile a little bit. I just don't want it to be as much of a bump here. And I think that profile will look how I want it to. Okay. Let's talk a little about plan to start foraging. That's pretty cool. The cool thing is you can always build a shop and get into this. You don't need a huge shop to do a lot of this stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stills that don't like to be forged. A ton of them. But the cool thing is stock removal is an option. You can always do stock removal. It doesn't make you any less of a knife maker. It just makes you a specific style of knife maker. But you're still a knife maker. You know, I do both forging and stock removal, and then of course, even after I'm done forging it, I've got to do the rest of it as stock removal. Cleaning up bevels, putting edges, you know, profiles, doing handle shapes, all that stuff's all stock removal. Don't let somebody tell you you're not a good knife maker because you can't do forging or something like that. Okay, now I've got the blade profile exactly how I want it. Now I can go ahead, and that's with bevels forged and all that stuff. Go ahead and quench your tongs, put your tongs in your water, pull them off, so that you don't make the mistake of grabbing them while they're hot. Now we're just going to grab regular set of kind of like wolf jaw tongs, just normal bladesmithing tongs, and we're going to grab the blade and we're going to work it from here just like this. The whole point behind that is whenever you're holding it with box jaw tongs, what it wants to do sometimes is pinch the outer side. Let's say you're forging and it slightly rocks, it can pinch and actually mar up your profile. And if you're trying to do forge to finish, once you get that blade exactly how you want it, you want to be able to grab it from the sides and not really mar up the spine or the cutting edge, so you don't have to forge it later. Because once I do this I-beam effect to the handle, I can't really grab the handle with tongs anymore. Because if I do that, it will then mess up the edge of that I-beam. So once we're done doing the I-beam effect, that's it. You can't be grabbing it on the spine anymore. So we want to make sure, put it in the forge, heat it up again, make sure our tang is nice and straight and even with our cutting edge and everything. And then we want to start doing that I-beam effect. And if you're wondering what I mean by the I-beam, I'll show y'all. I've got a few knives that have this type of thing on it. So of course we did this one a while back. This is another one of the live stream blades, the kind of legless knife where I forged the whole entire integral, and then I I-beamed this section right here, rounding this, widening this top and bottom, and then also the steak knife that I made myself, how that is I-beamed. So the top and bottom are radiused all by hammer and anvil. So you have a full integral handle. So we're going to do something like that. Of course, not as wide as these, because these started off as wider stock. But that's the goal. We are going to switch to a different hammer for this. We're going to be using the ball peen for most of this. We're going to be using the horn. We're going to be using the edges of the anvil, all that stuff in order to create this look. So let's go ahead, grab it out of here, and start I-beaming this thing. Yeah, that's gonna work. Just needed to make sure we were right on the money there. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all. Let's see if we can actually see this on here. So what's going to end up happening is you can see that it is wider here. And we're starting to round that spine over. Of course, we're going to go quite a bit more than that. But it's going to start creating a lip. See a little bit of the shadow right there, right up here. You can see a little bit of that shadow. We're going to start creating a lip right there on the top and the bottom as we forge this. We don't need a ton of heat while we're doing this, so you'll see me work it on a cooler heat. And what we're doing, we are taking it and we are rounding it as we go. I'm going to go ahead and bring one of the lights up here real quick. That way you can actually see what I'm doing better. Alright. So, what I'm going to be doing is I am rocking it back and forth. So I'm rocking it like this, and I'm hammering where I'm pinching it. And what that's going to do is that's going to flare this spine. It's going to flare it out and create a shallow spot in the center, but a nice wide, comfortable area to hold. Gone through 2 bottles of water while I'm here. Okay. Now you can see what we're doing there. You can see the shadow in this section here. We are going to start, see if I can pull this back a little bit. You'll start seeing an I-beam effect as we do this. That's going to look good. Of course, as I go, I'm going to have to, yep, I'll bring it up here. Keep working that. Oh, this is going to be cool. I've wanted to do one of these for a little while now, so I think that this is going to be a really cool process. Whew. I'll fill the phone and make sure we're not super hot. Pull this back off just a little bit. Don't worry about the crazy bumps or anything like that. Changing out the little cool water thing that's behind the phone there. It gets super hot in here, so I've got to be able to pull everything off. I'm going to move y'all for just a second. Open the door up. Let some of that heat out. There we go. All right, let's grab this and keep going. Really starting to get that I-beam. The cool thing of this particular process is whenever I actually go through and clean everything up, Scotch-Brite it, well, whenever I take it, I wire wheel it and then hit it with Scotch-Brite and clean everything up, and you actually get to see it in a picture and see all of the cool little things that happen with this handle. It's going to look a lot better than with it having forge scale on it and all of that. So all that forge scale is going to come off. Don't like chatting with your mouth full. And yes, I agree. You do need to rehandle this thing. Look at Look at the inside of that thing. It's seen some life, that's for sure. But yes, I need you to absolutely rehandle this. So what I'll do is whenever I come down there to the Texas Fair Supply event, I will go ahead and drop this off to you and leave it with you, and you just finish it whenever you're done finishing it. So, yes, I agree. Keep it going. As you can see, we're quite a bit wider than we were. This right here is the original thickness. This is how wide we are now. It's twice as thick as it was. Apparently Lucas has just chosen one for his first knife. It's the best first knife I think I've ever seen. That's pretty cool. It's okay to copy from videos and do stuff like that. It's the reason why I do my profiles on my website. I want people to be able to get into knife making and not worry about, you know, a knife profile or something like that. So I'll tell you right now, I've got a little PDF bundle on my website. So it's got EDC, a little harpoon tip, EDC, a nice little chef's knife, and a recurve chopper. All with the handle length, the pin locations, all that stuff. You can actually get the PDFs of these for like $4 right now or something like that on the website. And that lets you print them off as many times as you want. You have access to the PDFs, they're yours. You can print them off all you want, and all you gotta do is slap it on steel. All the pin holes and everything are already measured out. All that stuff. And I give you 100% authorization to make them, sell them. I don't care. As long as you're making money and you're able to buy tools and do all that stuff, those profiles, a lot of people like them. It makes your life a lot easier. You don't have to worry about somebody going, oh, you're not supposed to sell those things. Sell them. I don't care. Make your knives, sell your knives. those profiles so that people could get into knife making and didn't have to buy profiles off of a website or something like that. Like they didn't have to buy blanks. You can buy whatever steel you want and just put that on it and do your stock removal. And you don't have to feel guilty, you know, making those knives. I am taking and rounding it over too, so I'm not just hitting it like this. I'm also coming off and doing glancing blows. That way it rounds that edge over. And I'm looking for uniformity while I'm doing this. So if I need to take and focus on a specific area a little bit more to make it to where it has a nice uniform swell going from the ricasso to the heel of the blade, that's what I want to do. Okay, so you'll be able to see something that's happening right now. So if you look at this, y'all probably can't see it too much, but this side over here actually swells out just a little bit more than the other side. And the reason behind that is I can get a better angle on this side to be able to do that glancing blow to come in at an angle and move that stuff down. Here it's not as good of an angle, so all I need to do is just work on that, and I can just switch it so that I'm holding it back here, switch it around. Round it off into there. Get it nice and uniform. Now we'll switch to the body hammer. Another one of those hammers that I need you to rehandle, Frank, is a fiberglass handle. So I'm gonna heat it back up. I'm gonna use this because I can actually get up into the area as close as possible and round that area over, and then I'll be good. Of course, I still got to use the hammers to just round it slightly, ever so much, to the actual heel. Not too much, but just enough to the butt of that handle. Like this, that alone makes you a better knife maker the most. You'd be amazed. Rush through the steps. I agree. Those are not the steps that you want to rush through. So, things that you don't want to rush through again are all the fine-tuning processes like handle profiling and sanding and smoothing and, you know, picking out material choices for the right knives and all that stuff. All those things are important. Okay, got just enough heat into it. Okay. Everything's straight. I do got to bring that heel over just a little bit, but I can do that after we get done with this. For right now, so we have a slight taper from here to it being slightly wider, to taper to the ricasso, to the distal through the blade. Got that I-beam effect. You can really see that lip right there on the top and the bottom. We're nice and radiused throughout there. The only thing that I'm seeing right now, and I can always correct it later, is there's a little bit of a sharp edge inside here. Okay. Now we have that actually kind of radiused in there. So that's looking a lot better. And of course, I really like the knife profile, how we're at there. I think that profile is just good looking. I'm gonna go ahead and heat it up one more time and get the profile as we can get it. Nice and even. All I got to do is get that cutting edge centered and then planish the blade. We use the auto body hammer to do the planishing and getting everything centered. Let's see here. clearly. Thank you, Frank. Tools, separates normal knife makers. Yeah, Kyle Royer. All the tools you could ever imagine. The dental burr thing for his guards. Yeah, work ethic changes a lot for knife makers. Like the quality of the knife itself, the quality of the work. You got to be willing to be ultra picky. Okay. I think we're doing good. All right. So let's see if I can get a here. We're gonna put you down for just a second. I'll change the camera angle. Whoop. Back out. Okay. So it's like a Halloween angle. I'm about to tell you all a ghost story. So that is the profile right there. We got that flare on the handle. Now, of course, I might go in and adjust it by cold forging a little bit tomorrow. But I'll probably spend about 45 minutes just going after it with the ball peen side of the hammer and just working that spine down. And I'll probably go ahead and radius the whole entire spine all the way to the tip. But you can really see that I-beam profile, that flare that happens on both sides there to give us that nice swell that comes across the spine and the belly. So when we're holding this, we'll feel like we're holding a handle. It'll be nice and wide. I'll end up drilling a hole, putting a lanyard on it. You got that nice subtle recurve. And it's going to really hold your hand nicely. And I radiused that inner piece right here and flared it out as well, so it's radiused like this and slightly flared out all the way up into that corner right up in there. I know this is like hardcore. It's just the light coming up from the bottom, like Halloween angle. That, let's see if you can actually see this. So the plunge line grab it from this side. The plunge line starts here and works its way up to the spine here. So you can see how there's two different shades. There's this shade, and then there's this darker shade. Right up here, that's the flats. This is the bevels. So it radiuses from the heel all the way up to the spine. Up here. So that's where the actual plunge line is. It comes all the way from here and works its way up to the spine. Yeah, I know. I got the mad Batman eyebrows. Nice and straight, all the way to the distal. That cutting edge is centered to the spine, or to the end of the tang. So you can see there's the end of the tang. It's right in the center of the tongs there. That cutting edge splits those tongs right in half. So that's forged nice and straight. The cutting edge goes all the way down, tip to the cutting edge. Boop. And I think it's going to look really cool once we actually go through and finish the profile. Oh, there you go. Okay, do you see this right here? That, you can see the plunge line right there. So there is a definite shadow difference between this section up here and this section right here, where the plunge comes up to the spine. It's not, she's like, she brought an extra light in here. It really didn't do anything. It's just the funniest thing because my glasses just go straight to my actual eyebrows. Like, take them off, there's the eyebrows. Like, it's literally like, are you making me angry? So ridiculous.
Using your tactical flashlights.
But yeah, that right there, that's a good looking. That's a little bit better, but you would have to hold it.
I mean,
Shines it in my eyeballs. I've got a light person now. Well, that actually, that shows off a lot of it actually.
why is it red?
There you go. Now you can see all the stuff. I think that's going to look really cool. So now, you got to take it, put it in the forge, do our annealing process. I'm going to have to use a new brick because I quenched and completely water soaked one of my fire bricks that was my door. So that weighs about twice what it normally weighs because it soaked in all that water. So that fire brick's pretty much useless. So now I got to use one of my other pieces of fire brick, which I have several. Don't want to use the top piece. We'll use this guy. Yeah. I've always got several pieces of fire brick laying around. Yeah, moving up in the world, kind of lighting person. Coulter was like, next, makeup.
I can do it. It'll sweat off.
Jeez, it would absolutely sweat off.
No,
it
it
feels,
won't. No,
it feels
won't,
good.
Because I'm learning.
right
I have
now.
to. It can't sweat off whenever I'm on stage. So
Calm down. I'm not wearing makeup. It's funny how.
what, you don't want any electric glue to help make those
Yeah, I get
brown
that.
eyes stand out?
So, again, a lot of this is self-taught stuff. This is me just going through the motion, figuring it out as I go, using the hammers, using the tools, using all the stuff, and then going, oh, okay, whenever I hit it like this, it does this thing. When I hit it like that, it does this other thing. That is what you're looking for. Until you actually go through the motion of swinging a hammer and learning the process, you won't really grasp what's going to happen whenever you hit it. And thank you, Mom.
So, question: would they
Yeah.
want to see you teach somebody who has not made a knife how to make a knife, live, other than you doing it at a direct forge?
Probably. Nisha asked if y'all would want to watch me teach a person how to make a knife live. So I actually bring someone in here and teach them how to make a knife live. Someone who hasn't really made a knife, and show them how to do all the things. And have them forge something. That would be a that would be a fun process. I have taught people how to forge knives in the shop, so that is something that I have taught. Not a ton, but yep. So I will figure out who I'm going to end up showing that to. Nisha just raised her hand, so that would be probably interesting. Do y'all want to see Miss Rivers learn how to make a knife? Because I can use her as the student. She doesn't even swing hammers, so
That's
yeah.
not
No, anvils.
okay.
All right, so that's hot enough. We're gonna go ahead and lock it off.
Totally help bust up some of the concrete underneath this pad before.
Oh, that's true. Slinging a sledgehammer. We have done that.
And hammers and nails and
So
roofing. I just haven't done.
that's what we'll probably go ahead and do, and we will have her learn how to make a knife. We probably won't make a huge knife. We'll probably make a EDC or something like that, and that would be good practice for me too. So go ahead and teach her how to do.
You'll have to get a
A knife.
body person.
I have to get another. Yeah, I have to bring Xander out here to be our light person. But I will figure out how we're going to go about doing that. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to teach her at all anything prior to it. So everything that she learns during that live stream is going to be what she learns from the process. Other than she, of course, can watch videos if she wants to do her own research, like y'all do. She can watch videos and see what I'm doing, or she can just come in and learn it. I mean, we all know who's the boss, but it would be fun to see the role reversal. That's true. She'd still be the boss. I'd just be teaching her how to do a thing. You see a chipper being made? Yes. No chipper. We're just gonna make a knife like that. Now we are gonna make an actual knife. So we'll do a real knife. It'll be something, something good, something cool, and I think that it'll be a fun process. It'll be a cool experience for me, and again, that's what my channel's all about. So that's what we're gonna do. We are going to teach Mrs. Rivers how to make a knife on a Rivers Experience live stream.
The difference is I argue with you.
She does argue with me, but she won't be able to during this because she will burn herself. So she's not going to argue with me. If I tell her where to hit, she's going to hit it there. If she doesn't hit it there, she's going to screw it up. So get in trouble for that later. Like I said, I actually really need to learn how to teach, so please do that. Cool. We will. I'll get her out here. She'll melt. She'll have fun.
It's supposed to be cooler in the too.
Hop on the hype train for Space Marine 2. And make a combat knife? Yeah, I mean, I could make a combat knife or one of the CSGO knives. I see so many people make those CSGO knives. I'm just like, okay, everything needs a saw back. So we'll have her try and forge a saw back
No.
to the back of the spine. No, we're not going to forge that. Grind on them.
Those are weak spots.
Those are.
It causes stress points.
Filling
I
the
do not want to
string will be
have a
absolutely
struck
hilarious. I'm pretty busy. Yeah. Yes, you will. You will be very busy moderating that stream. All y'all will.
Duck?
I will definitely need mods
Yeah.
on that because people are going to do one of two things. They're going to absolutely love it or they're going to try and troll the hell out of it. But the last time I had her on the live stream, the last time she helped with the live stream, we had like 40-something thousand views on that live stream. So who knows? Maybe we gotta have Miss Rivers out here more often so we can get those crazy 40,000 view videos. She helped literally drift a hole, and we were like, live stream blew up. Need to promote the hell out of it. Yeah, we'll probably do that. She's the person who does a lot of that. Trying to design a Star Wars inspired combat knife set for a future project for a friend. That's pretty cool. So
Still trying to make him do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I will do that. So one of my friends, Gadir, on the Blackbeard project. If y'all don't know him, that's crazy. Because how do you not watch the Blackbeard project video at all? But he literally like teamed up with World of Warcraft for their new expansion and made one of the swords from it. Like he does those cool collaborations with like the actual brands. And then Keaton from Faraway Forge, he does all kinds of collaborations with like movie companies and all of that stuff. That's really cool. Yeah, I want to do some of that. I think that this hammer-in / demonstration thing is going to be really cool with being able to be there with Jay Nielsen and Shelly and do some teaching and have them there and all that stuff. I think that's going to be cool. I'm pretty sure Frank's going to be there too. So if you want to meet him and talk to him about hammer stuff, and Nita, there's a good chance that they're probably going to be at that unless there's another knife show happening on November 16th. Or unless he's working. Because knife making isn't his only job.
Hammer.
Yeah. He's also
Tool making.
Well, not just tool making, he is also in hospitals.
Yeah.
Doing his real job. Well, I say that. Making hammers and doing this stuff, that's what he's going to retire doing. That's what he's going to be doing for the rest of his life. I consider that the real job. So, even though he's awesome. And if y'all haven't met Frank and Nita, those are going to be the two people at this event that you're going to want to hang out with because they are the life of everywhere they go. You don't have a company named Two Bastards and not be the life of the party, even if you're not at a party. Okay? You had a business meeting, life of the party. So that's Frank and Nita. Amazing people. Absolutely amazing. Anyways. Whew. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing a teaching experience. I don't know if that's going to be the next live stream. It might be, depending on the heat. If it's cooler next weekend, we'll do that next weekend. If it is still pretty warm, what I'll probably do is I will go ahead and I'm going to do one of the OG Frenchies profiles. So he had messaged me and all that stuff. I think that I'm gonna do, if we don't do the teaching experience on the live stream on the next one, I'll be doing one of, like I said, the OG Franchies profiles, and then the week after that I'll do my own version of that profile, just like what I did with the last one, and we'll go from there. So, and then we'll end up doing wherever it fits in, we'll do the teaching experience, that way y'all can see that, and I'll make sure y'all know that that's coming up. I can't wait to see that on the early show. Yeah. Go fund me for duck before I live in Pennsylvania. So would your parents let you go if you were able to get enough money for it? Y'all might not know this, but Duck
17.
is a little young. You know, I know he talks on here like he's 32, but he's a little young.
He's one of our future.
Yeah.
Part of our future.
And if you see what he already makes with his age right now, it's like Elijah, like with Working Hand Forge. Super young. He's going to be forging with us at the Texas Renaissance Fair. Absolutely amazing person. Finally 18 years old, so he can go and hang out with us and not need a chaperone. But yeah, these young knife makers are absolutely amazing. It's just crazy what y'all do. But yeah, I'd love to have you there for that. There are a whole bunch of y'all. There's a whole bunch of young knife makers that are just crushing it right now. Absolutely crushing it. You know what I want to crush right now? Food. I've eaten like 2 chicken strips all day. Been up since like 5 a.m. I'm ready to eat. Start a Gen Z knife maker podcast. That would be actually hilarious. Y'all can just do like all Gen Z like words during it too.
You mean like bruh?
Or like things are sus. All that stuff. Yeah. Say skibbity once. Dude, I'll tell you right now, listening to Toby talk sometimes is hilarious. Toby and Arlen.
Everybody's bruh.
Yeah. It's hilarious listening to my kids talk.
She called me bruh, and then she turned around and called her grandpa.
That's
bruh.
Gen Alpha?
Yeah.
That's
No. The babies are Gen Alpha.
Okay. So what is Xander?
He's Gen Z.
Okay. Xander's Gen Z. We don't associate with them. I love that.
Don't be getting your roots mixed up.
Yep. Yeah, right. So, yes, I am going to go enjoy my food that I haven't made yet, that I'm about to make and eat. Y'all have an amazing week. I am going to be putting out a video on this one this week, so we're going to get further than where we're at right now on it. I've already filmed some of it, so we're going to have that video coming out this week, and it's going to be fun. Everybody, thank y'all for coming here. Thank y'all for participating in the chat. Thank y'all for doing what y'all do. Make sure you go check out Frank, Texas. So, Two Bastards, Texas Smithy and Supply. The Two Bastards are Frank and Nita, or F&N Metalworks. So, Frank and Nita, make sure you go check them out. Make sure you get yourself some hammers. Y'all have an amazing week. And I'll catch y'all next time. See y'all.